How fantastic were the Fantastic Four movies? Let's rank them in order from least to most fantastic. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams. Today I've got a ranking of all the Fantastic Four movies. This isn't going to be a perfect list, it's just my opinion. Let me know yours down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Man, this is going to be hard because generally a lot of these rankings I've been doing lately, I really like most of the movies. There might be like one or two, but generally, the Fantastic Four movies have not had a great track record, and I'm going to dive into my personal feelings on this, so please, if I say something really good about a movie that you think is complete garbage, well, we'll get to that. Number 5, Fantastic Four, Fantfourstick. Where do I begin with this one? I mean, casting wasn't too bad other than Kate Mara. I think everyone else is pretty good in this movie. Toby Kebbell as Dr. Doom is inspired, but it's just what they chose to do with him just falls completely flat. He's nothing more than just an overeager action figure. It's just, there's nothing threatening about him other than his powers, and it's not even the powers that Dr. Doom has in the comics or any other media. The story is completely boring. It takes forever to get into any kind of sort of action. Like, they don't even get their powers until 45 minutes into this movie. And this movie's just a little over an hour and a half. Half of this movie's runtime is them talking about science and building up, I guess, trying to build up their characters to go nowhere with it. And then on top of that, after they get their powers and we start realizing, oh, they have powers, it just all of a sudden, in the last 30 minutes of the movie, jumps to 1 year later. 1 year later, we need to go back in there because Dr. Doom, or Victor, or whatever, took it upon himself to touch some alien green ooze, which is stupid, and then fell in, and after a year, hey, let's go back and check to see if that dude's still alive. Maybe, possibly. Let's go check on him, huh? And the entire plot is devoid of, like, anything meaningful. And basically what they were trying to do is scale back from the goofiness of the two Tim Story movies, which I will talk about, and obviously are ranking higher on this list. So they scaled so far back that they just removed any feeling and emotion and fun out of this movie. There are so many details that this movie dives into, but all I can do to describe them is, why? Not only is it a bad Fantastic Four film, it's also one of the worst films I have ever seen in my entire life. And that's including number 4, The Fantastic Four, in case you couldn't guess. So if you're not familiar with this story, the rights to the Fantastic Four movies were going to revert back to Marvel in like the mid-90s. There's this whole thing with like the Marvel outsourcing their movies to other studios. I think Fantastic Four was outsourced back in the early 80s, and that contract was about to expire. So they made this movie with the idea that it would retain the rights. The producers had no intention of actually ever releasing this movie. Problem is, they didn't tell anyone else, so the rest of the crew, the actors, are basically giving it their all as much as they can, not realizing this movie is not supposed to ever see the light of day. This movie was eventually leaked and passed around as like a bootleg at conventions. As the internet became bigger and bigger, it started getting shared like on file sharing, pirated sites. And now eventually it got to where we're at right now, where you can actually watch this movie for free right here on YouTube in some form or another. Like any given moment, it's always available here on YouTube to watch. It is a bad movie, but overall, they did a lot of really good things with the characters in the story. Wait, no they didn't. There's no real action. The camera cuts away or does some kind of weird special effect. It's all cheesy, it looks cheap, or it may actually also look like a cartoon. On top of that, there's other more famous characters that are a part of the Fantastic Four lore that are just swapped out because apparently they couldn't get the licensing to those. Like, they couldn't get Mole Man, so they replaced him with the Jeweler, who I guess steals jewels, but also lives underground. The only reason that I have this movie higher than the Four Stick is because it's so bad it actually is good. This has got like The Room levels of like stupid but funny. I do recommend that other people watch this entertaining piece of film history. Number 3, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Galactus is a cloud, enough said. No, really, it does continue a lot of the cheesiness from the first movie. It just adds in like power swapping and bickering between military orders and the scientist who wants to be taken seriously by the military general. Plus, there's this whole side plot of Reed and Sue's wedding right when the Earth is possibly being destroyed. At least the Silver Surfer looks good, but there were aspects of that character that were changed around to accommodate how weird this story is. Silver Surfer does not get his power from his board. It's entertaining, and the leads continue to do a serviceable job, but the Silver Surfer and the Coming of Galactus storyline, it really deserves a proper treatment that will probably take about 18 years before they could potentially do it right. Number 2, Fantastic Four. This is what people think about when you're talking about a Fantastic Four movie, and it's definitely entertaining. But it's extremely silly and formulaic and miscast. I'm not a big fan of Jessica Alba as Sue Storm, and Julian McMahon is a fantastic casting as Doctor Doom, but they needed to change his voice when the Doom mask comes on.
Let's not fight.
No, let's.
Like, modulate his voice, make him sound deeper and more imposing. The Thing costume actually looked pretty good for it being a practical costume, but Reed's CGI stretching looked like CGI rubber. Johnny's powers obviously looked the best when he was on fire, flamed on. The ones that probably looked the worst was whenever they were trying to get Jessica Alba naked for a PG-13 movie, because why would you do that? Oh yeah, people are horny all the time. It is enjoyable, especially for nostalgia's sake, when you look back at all the other like mediocre superhero movies that we had at the time. Whether it was like X-Men 3 or Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Hulk, Blade Trinity, pretty much anything Avi Arad was trying to make until Big Papa Kevin Feige came in here and said we could do much better. Number 1, The Incredibles. Alright, so I know, completely joking, but seriously, if y'all had never heard this, for years, everyone was constantly saying that the best Fantastic Four movie was The Incredibles. And you can definitely see where they share some common threads. You definitely see like the family dynamic in The Incredibles, the fact that there's 4 of them, they all have powers, they all become heroes, it works. But it's not an actual Fantastic Four movie, so I'm not seriously counting it on here. The real number 1, The Fantastic Four First Steps. Is it a perfect movie? No. There are some slight disconnects being in this new world, like how the story just immediately picks up and we're thrusted into this story. Plus, there's some of the CGI that does look a little wonky, namely anything involving Baby Franklin. The face looks a little off in some of the shots, and then you've also still got the problem with like Reed stretching, looks kind of fake, but that's about it as far as the special effects CGI goes. Is it the best Fantastic Four movie we've ever gotten? Absolutely. This movie did the one thing that we needed most out of a Fantastic Four movie, and that was put the family first. Other than like a few fleeting moments in the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, I really don't see anything involving a family. No like real family dynamic moments in those movies. They're too busy still getting their powers and making jokes about it to really bond or show anything of them actually being a family. The casting is really solid. I'm not a huge fan of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. He just really didn't feel like Reed to me. The Shalabal Silver Surfer was very well done and had a great heartfelt moment in this movie. The other big winner, and I mean big winner in this movie, was Galactus. He was huge, he was terrifying, and he wasn't a cloud. Ralph Ineson was so perfectly casted and just so scary. If you saw this on an IMAX screen with that, you got the best screening of that movie, hands down. The music, cinematography, and the retro futuristic production design are all top notch. Matt Shakman did the impossible. He made a fantastic Fantastic Four movie. Finally. Anyways, that is my thoughts on all of the Fantastic Four movies and where I would rank them. Again, where would you rank yours? Let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd. Also, youtube.com/@RCA Reacts. Thank you for watching this video. We will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.